Sovereign recognized nations, and what does it mean? When the department acknowledges an Indian tribe, it acknowledges that an inherent sovereignty already exists. The department is not granting sovereign status or powers to the tribe. U.S. Department of the Interior, Federal Acknowledgement of Indian Tribes 1. Sovereignty is older than any government. Indigenous nations possess self-governing authority long before the United States, or its agencies, existed. Federal acknowledgement simply records that fact. It does not create it. In simple terms, the federal government do not grant sovereignty. That sovereignty already exists within all tribes. It doesn't matter if the tribe is federally recognized or non-federal recognized or state recognized or non-state recognized. Recognition do not determine a tribe existence, nor does it prove the only way to be American Indians of Aboriginal descendants. Recognition only confirms what already exists in another government system. 2. Federal recognition is an administrative act, not a source of power. The federal process asks a nation to prove its unbroken autonomy since historical times. Once proven, the United States says, in effect, yes, we see that your sovereignty is already there. No statute, commission, or agency can bestow what is innate. In other words, the tribe's sovereignty has existed before any recognition process, and even without recognition, that tribe is completely sovereign and autonomous. 3. State recognition can contradict inherent sovereignty. Many state pathways, including those in South Carolina, require tribes to accept full state, civil, criminal, and regulatory jurisdiction. By doing so, a nation relinquishes the very independence it must later demonstrate for federal acknowledgement, which contradicts federal recognition because there is no way for the tribe to prove its independence or autonomously if under the recognition process of the state, by being bound to all state, civil, criminal, and regularly jurisdiction, it must prove to be federally recognized. 4. SITN's stance. We are a sovereign recognized nation by venue of our continuous existence, historical lineage, genealogy, BLM land patents, and more. SITN authority comes from customary law, tribal law, international law, ecclesiastical law, and tribal government trust structure, and much more. 5. We do not petition for outside recognition if the price is surrendering any measure of our inherent authority, sovereign immunity, land stewardship, or spiritual governance. We invite partnerships on a nation-to-nation basis, honoring the mutual respect outlined in international instruments such as UNDRIP, 2007, and the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, 2016. Bottom line, recognition confirms what already exists. It does not confer. Sovereignty lives within the people and the land, and that is where SITN keeps it. 6. Court-acknowledged sovereignty. Multiple state court orders and filings have already recognized SITN's sovereign standing and tribal government structure. These judicial acknowledgments confirm what our people have always known. Sovereignty is inherent. No state certificate or license required. 7. IRS recognized trust-based tribal government. SITN operates as a 508(c)(1)(a) tax-exempt tribal government formally registered with the Internal Revenue Service and recognized by the IRS as a tribal government, not organization, not institution, not band, not social club, or an unrecognized group. 8. Sovereign nations are tribal governments or considered government instrumentalities. SITN is what we are by bloodline, by lineage, by heritage, by culture, by identity, by right, by authority, by tribal law, by customary law, by international law, by treaties, by venue, and by continuous existence, after genocide, slavery, reclassification, illegal land allotments, and identity erasure of our ancestors. 9. SITN and GEIB has IRS acknowledgement, financial bank acknowledgement, court acknowledgement, state acknowledgement, and federal acknowledgement. These systems acknowledge the sovereign jurisdiction of a sovereign nation, whether they admit it or not. SITN Tribal Government. Trust handles core governance, tribal police, security forces, emergency response, humanitarian, religious, and economic policy. Public Benefit Living Trust. 509A. 2. Manages cultural projects, museums, pyramid research centers, heritage parks, and more, while keeping sacred assets separate from commercial activity. 10. Bottom line, sovereignty is older than any government. Indigenous nations possess self-governing authority long before any corporation formed and long before any corporate government existence and corporate independence. SITN seeks the same independence and sovereign protections of a sovereign tribal nation by right, by law, by land reclamation, by reparations, by restoration.